Amados, amados, vamos lá para mais uma live do programa Artemis. Sou Vilca Martins, falando aqui de Chapecó, Santa Catarina. Vamos falar aí um pouquinho aí do programa Artemis. Quer dizer, vamos falar? Não, a NASA vai falar. Estou retransmitindo aqui o simpósio espacial, o principal simpósio espacial do mundo. Está sendo iniciado agora. Vamos colocar aqui já o camera up ali, ó, já está chegando daqui a pouquinho. Daqui a pouquinho vai começar, já estamos aguardando aqui. Vou colocar em tela cheia. Que é o objetivo dessa sexta live do programa Artemis? Como todos sabem, estou fazendo o acompanhamento aí de todos os detalhes da missão Artemis, que vai nos retornar às explorações espaciais na Lua, depois de 50 anos das missões Apollo. O objetivo da NASA, então, é estabelecer a base lunar, uma base de colonização lunar, para fazer um pezinho para Marte, para futuras explorações em Marte. Primeiro ali, colonizar ali, fazer uma base na Lua, colocar um gateway ao redor da Lua também, como nós temos a ISS já aqui no planeta Terra, vamos ter uma ISS lunar, é um gateway lunar que vai ficar ali para fazer os acoplamentos das missões ali para a Lua também, e para fazer o pezinho para Marte. Tudo isso vai ser falado daqui a pouquinho por essa senhorita aqui, ó, Pam Melroy, que é a administradora adjunta da NASA. Essa mulher é espetacular. Eu vou falar um pouquinho do currículo dela aqui para vocês vão ver que coisa extraordinária essa mulher é. Pam Melroy é administradora adjunta da NASA, então. Ela vai falar agora no... Ó, já chegou. Deixa eu ver se está com o som habilitado aqui, espera aí. Não, vamos ligar.
We've got a great speaker for us after the break. All the rowdy ones in the back, the Marines back there, if you just sit down, please, we'll get started.
Pedindo pro pessoal da Marinha Americana sentar lá atrás, já vamos começar.
Retired Colonel Pam Melroy as our next speaker.
Ela é coronel da Força Aérea Americana.
She is currently the Deputy Administrator of NASA.
Tá falando um pouquinho do currículo dela.
Keeping Bill Nelson, a politician, focused on
ela é a segunda da NASA depois do Bill Nelson.
Thank you. She's had an amazing career serving our nation. She's an Air Force officer, combat veteran, as a NASA astronaut.
Astronauta da NASA.
Two female shuttle commanders
uma das duas únicas mulheres a comandar o Space Shuttle lá para a ISS.
Brought supplies to the commander Peggy Whitson, where we had two female commanders on orbit at the same time.
Duas mulheres apenas comandaram o Space Shuttle.
And of course they both didn't care whether they were female or male, and neither did their crews.
Eles não importavam se era homem ou mulher, né? Eles queriam suprimentos para a ISS, só isso.
She's now helping manage the future efforts of NASA, focusing on Artemis.
Então ela está responsável agora pelos programas da NASA, especialmente a Artemis.
It's a demanding position, but she is the right person in the right place
right now. Right person in the right place.
And I believe is going to have a very significant impact on where we go in human space flight in the future. There are a lot of amazing things coming, and she's going to tell you about them.
Para a Lua e para Marte.
So it's a pleasure to have her back at the Space Symposium, representing the men and women of NASA. And Pam, please join me on the stage.
Representando os homens e mulheres da NASA, Pam Melroy, astronauta. Ela é formada em física, astronomia, mestre em ciências planetárias e da Terra pelo MIT. A mulher não é fraca, não. 6.000 horas de voo, 50
aviões. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate that.
I appreciate
Usually I'm the rowdy one in the back. So, on behalf of Administrator Nelson, it's my pleasure to speak with you
Meu
today
prazer falar aqui
in this wonderful
representando
venue
o
at a very
administrador
auspicious
Nelson.
moment in our history.
É um momento histórico na nossa história.
NASA has never been busier or
A
more
NASA
productive.
nunca esteve tão
We're
com tanto
firing on
trabalho.
all cylinders in every single mission directorate, bringing to reality major transformational milestones,
Trazendo à realidade
which are going to
transformações
change
extraordinárias
the
que vão
aerospace
transformar a
And this is
aeroespacial.
against a backdrop where space is increasingly crucial to the lives of every citizen on Earth.
As explorações espaciais, as
see it
pesquisas
too when
científicas
you're making it
cruciais
happen.
para a vida de todos aqui na Terra.
Today, I'm going to give you an update on the
Hoje
impact of the recently announced
update, então,
President's 2023 budget on NASA's portfolio
no
across human
budget de
spaceflight,
2023 da NASA,
science, technology,
ciência,
aeronautics,
tecnologia, aeronáutica, é o
human
que ela vai falar um
spaceflight.
pouquinho. E
And I'm
human
going to share
space
our priorities
exploration.
and where we hope they will take us Let me begin by saying we want that future to be inclusive and to be the strongest we can be.
Queremos futuro inclusivo e forte para a exploração espacial para todas as pessoas de todos os tipos. Futuro inclusivo, legal aí.
President Biden unveiled his budget request for fiscal year 2023, and the news is good for NASA. The $26 billion fiscal year 2023 budget request is 8% more than enacted federal spending levels for fiscal year 2022. Affirming the importance of civil space to the Biden-Harris administration
8% maior do que o ano anterior.
And to the strategic future of the United States. It represents the largest overall request in current dollars for NASA and the largest request for science funding in agency history.
O maior fundo aí para ciência e pesquisa da NASA de todos os tempos,
that partner with NASA across all 50 states. It will help us address climate change, and it helps NASA provide more opportunities in STEM education and promotes our core values of diversity and equity.
Diversidade e equidade. Meu Deus do céu, eu estou amando a NASA de paixão. Inclusão, diversidade e equidade é uma das metas da NASA.
Astronauts in orbit above us right now on the International Space Station.
Os astronautas lá na ISS.
Science and prepare us for missions to further destinations. Last week, Mark Vande Hei returned to Earth, ending a record-setting journey of 355 days. Thank you.
Tá parabenizando a Vande Hei aí, que retornou com uma jornada de 355 dias aí na ISS.
Actually is showing us how humans can leave this planet for extended periods of time. And our congratulations to Mark on this incredible milestone
do astronauta Mark aqui também, né? O maior período de tempo no espaço aí na ISS que ele passou.
To extend the International Space Station operations to 2030. And we look forward to working with our international partners to achieve that.
Parceiros internacionais que são os parceiros da NASA, parceiros privados também,
commercial LEO destinations in this budget request. We will continue to work with our industry partners to lay the foundation for a follow-on commercial destination and continue to
parcerias comerciais da NASA aqui, parceria público-privada que a gente estava conversando na live ontem com o professor Gilberto. É uma parceria público-privada, não é só privado não.
They're going to be the ones who will be doing them on the next generation
experiências em microgravidade, algumas outras experiências que ela está comentando aqui, né?
LEO, and potentially at the moon and beyond.
Agora na Lua,
somebody who's been in the space business for a while, it's pretty incredible to see how many milestones have occurred in commercial space flight in just the last couple of years. The capabilities of our commercial partners are growing all the time. I know all of you are aware that the Axiom 1 mission, the first private astronaut mission to the International Space
primeira missão privada internacional,
and our congratulations to the
vai
Axiom
sair
and NASA
agora,
teams
8 de
that helped
abril.
make that happen.
4 astronautas,
just ahead of us is the
100%
fourth
privados,
commercial crew launch
o
to the
Falcon 9,
International Space Station by SpaceX,
Dragon,
with Boeing system for
SpaceX,
launching astronauts on the
vai
way.
enviar os 4
Not to
astronautas
mention
agora,
all the
daqui aos
suborbital
4
human
dias lá para a
spaceflight
ISS. A
capabilities
primeira
that have been
missão tripulada
demonstrated and are being
100% privada.
demonstrated on a routine basis. The way I see this is just as NASA's investments in aeronautics seeded the golden age of aviation in the 50s and the 60s.
Falou da era de ouro, né, nos anos 60 e 70, que teve as missões Apollo, né? E agora a gente está retomando esses investimentos, o governo americano.
And say that we are in the golden age
of commercial space.
It's pretty exciting to be living
Era de ouro da exploração espacial comercial.
I'd like to switch gears and talk about science for a moment.
Vamos falar de ciência por um momento?
Even with a pretty lofty and ambitious portfolio at NASA, space science astounds us and inspires us.
É o que nos
inspira. In this sea of
inspira.
incredible space news that we're hearing every day, I think none of us overlooked the amazing feat of launching the Webb telescope. The world watched as we worked through hundreds of single-point failures, and now have come to the point where every optical parameter that has been checked and tested is performing at or above expectations. The observatory is able to successfully gather and focus light from distant objects and deliver it to its instruments without issue.
Então tá falando aí que o Webb telescópio tá performando muito bem.
This year. I really want to congratulate the NASA team, our industry partners, Northrop Grumman, Ball Aerospace, and our ESA and Canadian partners on that success. The world has joined us on the journey, and we've just announced that 620 community organizations are going to be hosting Web First Light events with us. This is part of a strategy. This strategy of sharing the ups and the downs and the drama of each step of the scientific journey is a
compartilhar
strategy
os dramas,
that we are
os sucessos
will help everyone
da jornada
understand
espacial.
how science
É
works.
importante aí como para entender como a ciência funciona, cada passo aí da exploração espacial, né?
Also allows us to continue to make progress with the Nancy Grace Roman telescope, which will complement
Tá falando aí de novo telescópio aí,
into the cosmos,
Nancy Grace Roman Telescope,
taking a survey view to help us
tá falando de algumas pesquisas em andamento da NASA. Eu não estou
universe.
acompanhando esses dos telescópios, não. Meu
Asteroids
interesse é
also
Artemis,
continue
né?
to be at the
Então daqui a pouco a
forefront
gente
of the
entra na
world's
Artemis.
consciousness. This year we will launch Psyche to study a very different kind of asteroid. And we anticipate
Importante para
our
pesquisar os
planetary
asteroides,
protection mission
os exoplanetas, né?
this fall will help
telescópios
us
são
shed
importantes
light
para fazer essas
on a
pesquisas.
potential deflection technology that perhaps we could use on a dangerous near-Earth object.
Deixa eu colocar aqui
The president's budget will also enable our Mars
bannerzinho
sample
aqui.
return. Whoop. Okay, not quite the right. Oh, can you go back one? What am I showing? Nope, go to the next one. Thank you. Mars sample return.
Mars sample, vamos lá.
Budget will
Mars
also
sample return.
Mars
Agora a
sample
estratégia para Marte agora.
Partnership with ESA, which will revolutionize our understanding of Mars by returning samples for study using the most sophisticated instruments around the world. And that work is already underway with the Perseverance rover collecting those
rover
samples.
Perseverance, está falando da nave Perseverance aí.
On-site search for signs of ancient life. Those samples could be the best
coletando amostras lá do solo de Marte, a
Mars's early evolution and potential for life. This mission is a huge challenge. It's an enormous technical challenge. We'll have a lot of firsts on this mission, including the first time several vehicles would land on the surface of Mars orchestrated around the same time. It will also be the first launch from the surface of another planet with the Mars Ascent Vehicle, and the first international interplanetary relay effort using multiple missions.
Está falando pouquinho da Perseverance aí, como é o veículo, a primeiro lançamento espacial interplanetário a partir de Marte, da Perseverance, né? E trazer amostras de Marte para serem estudadas aqui, né?
We intend to lead
ano
in green
super
aerospace,
especial para a aeronáutica.
including our X-57
Estamos de volta aí ao trabalho
for flight test this year. And additionally, the 2023 budget enables us to begin planning for the next X-plane through the Sustainable Flight National Partnership, which will demonstrate flight efficiency capabilities that can transition directly to narrow-body civil aviation. We also continue enthusiastically in the X-plane business with the X-59 later this year, which will demonstrate how we can mitigate sonic booms, and we hope
alguns aviões aí que ela está comentando aí, né, para voos comerciais.
I'll go on to space technology.
Vamos continuar com tecnologia espacial.
Continues the TechMat, early stage innovation and partnerships that are truly the seed corn of the agency. These partnerships help us develop the technologies of tomorrow that will fulfill our vision of exploration. Satellite servicing, fission surface power, and a test of a new type of heat shield
tá falando sobre alguns
atmospheric
satélites
that will help
agora.
us deliver much heavier payloads are just a few of the things on tap. In this budget, we're also demonstrating our commitment
Sistemas
to
de
nuclear
reentrada
propulsion,
de naves espaciais,
which will enable greater capabilities across the science and the human spaceflight portfolio.
A ciência da exploração espacial.
Artemis. This budget request supports our Artemis program, helping us get to a sustained, resilient cadence of missions in the future.
Resiliência sustentável da missão.
To see the rollout
Olha o rollout, gente. Olha o rollout, olha ela saindo lá do...
It was very emotional and
muito
very
emotional,
historic.
Muito emotional, Pam.
We are working through wet dress rehearsal. First time you do anything, you learn a lot. And we will continue to work through that.
Estamos working through that.
Do all the testing,
vamos lá, vai dar
certo,
certo, Pam.
and the fuel test that we need, and then that will allow the countdown to the moon beginning.
Countdown to the moon
Even before Artemis 1, we have the Capstone launching next month to explore the lunar orbit where our astronauts will live and work in space. Capstone is a 55-pound CubeSat, the size of a microwave oven,
satélite aí que vai
para
dar uma analisada na Lua também.
Elliptical lunar orbit. That same near rectilinear halo orbit is planned for NASA's Gateway, the moon orbiting outpost and logistics cache that's part of the Artemis program. Capstone will validate the power and propulsion requirements for maintaining that unique orbit, helping us refine our models and ensure that we will be able to operate the Gateway efficiently.
O Gateway é que a SS ao redor da Lua lá também.
NASA also announced plans 2 weeks ago to create additional opportunities for industry to develop an astronaut moon
Oportunidades aí para a indústria privada também,
né? Enables resiliency and competition.
Resiliência, competição. Parceria privada, né?
American companies to propose lander concepts capable of ferrying astronauts between lunar orbit and the lunar surface for missions beyond Artemis 3. This path is in parallel to our work with SpaceX on the demonstration of its landing system
paralelo
to land the first humans
com a SpaceX
on the moon
também, né?
in
A
50
SpaceX
years,
também está aqui.
including the first
SpaceX
woman.
também está aqui no módulo de
Our next generation of science at the moon will get a big boost in preparation for astronaut science,
que é o pouso na Lua.
With U.S. companies delivering scientific instruments and technology demos to the lunar surface.
É importante aí os testes, instrumentos, protótipos que as indústrias americanas estão trabalhando firme aí nos 3 programas Artemis, 1, 2 e 3. É só para subir na Lua, dar uma voltinha lá, sem tripulação. O 2 já é com tripulação ao redor da Lua. E o 3 é a missão para pousar na Lua com uma mulher e uma pessoa negra
the concentration and location of water ice that could eventually be harvested to sustain human exploration on the moon.
A exploração da Lua, do Polo Sul, né? Que é o Polo Sul da Lua que ela está comentando, para ver se água lá, a ideia é procurar por água lá também, né?
Of the Apollo program. But we're poised to do so much more than that to build on that legacy, including also landing the first person of color on the moon.
A primeira pessoa negra na Lua e a primeira mulher.
We are standing on the shoulders of giants.
Nós estamos subindo nos ombros dos gigantes. Citando Newton, show de bola. Para colocar o homem e a mulher de volta à Lua. E nós vamos atingir o objetivo. We are standing on the shoulders of giants. Parabéns, Pam Melroy.
And talk
Citando
about
Newton,
the agency's priorities.
O maior cientista da humanidade, né?
We will continue to be a global leader
Nós continuaremos a ser líderes
space technology and human
mundiais
em
space technology e exploração espacial. Isso, NASA. Continuem.
Climate, workforce, and the Moon Tomorrow strategy.
Mudanças climáticas e tudo,
Our
né?
changing climate is creating an
agora falar
existential
de mudanças climáticas.
to all of us, crew members of Spaceship Earth. And NASA is uniquely positioned through our Earth Science program to contribute to one of the first key priorities of NASA, understanding climate change.
A superfície da Terra,
This year, with our
entender como é que funciona
partners, we
as
initiate
mudanças
the
climáticas
Earth
aqui,
System
trabalho
Observatory,
da
a
NASA, né?
series of Earth-observing satellites that will measure key parameters to improve the world's understanding of climate change. As we have measured Earth in the past, we've discovered that the most important thing to quantify is not just water or weather, soil moisture, or any individual thing, but actually to study Earth as a system. And so NASA's work here in the Earth System Observatory is critical for the entire planet.
Mas a Terra como sistema global, Gaia, né? Alguns cientistas de Lovelock estudava aí que a Terra é um organismo vivo. Então ela fala que a importância não é só a água ou o solo, mas sim a Terra como um todo que a NASA está estudando.
And we will initiate the Earth Information Center, an effort to bring together our
sistemas de informação na
climate
Terra,
data,
de clima
along with
também,
data
né?
from our interagency and international partners into one place. This will help make it more accessible. Scientists, yes,
é centralizar os dados de pesquisa num lugar só. Ela não falou qual é esse lugar.
And also all citizens, especially in our communities that are most affected by climate change. Our next priority is our workforce.
Próxima prioridade, a equipe na
We've
NASA.
recently gone through an enterprise transformation in our mission support directorate.
Teve uma mudança empresarial lá então.
A one NASA, one team approach to everything we do.
Para encorajar e facilitar time NASA só, né, de todas as NASAs espalhadas nos Estados
available to us for how we accomplish our work.
Aí, ó, a galera
Understanding the best practices in those kinds of partnerships and defining the unique and crucial role of the NASA workforce for the future is a key priority.
Uma prioridade da NASA é o workforce, é a força de trabalho da NASA para os próximos anos.
I think we all feel exhilarated, maybe a little daunted.
O futuro do nosso trabalho é o que cada pessoa constrói junto.
Getting that right is absolutely essential to support a future where we're still the employer of choice. And although this is mostly an inward-facing priority, we also intend to work with our industry and government partners to
trabalhar com o governo e com a indústria privada. É sempre a parceria que ela está se referindo a toda hora, né?
Now I'd like to talk
é o simpósio espacial com a NASA
strategy.
Administradora Pam Melroy.
This is a special moment for us as we prepare to launch Artemis 1.
Ela vai falar de Artemis de novo.
We have a pretty solid plan laid out through Artemis 4. We have hardware for each of those missions.
Nós temos aí hardware para ter Artemis 4
we have
lançamentos.
Clear goals for each of those missions.
Tem as missões aí já tudo planejado sobre construção das metas dessas 4 missões Artemis. Mas tem algumas questões que ela quer falar sobre Artemis 1.
About our moon to Mars
strategy. Momento muito importante de falar sobre o lançamento da Artemis.
This is a cross-cutting priority for the agency.
Cross-cutting priority, prioridade número 1.
Exploration Systems Directorate, led by Jim Free, is responsible for executing the Artemis campaign. The goal of solar system exploration actually spans all the mission directorates. And yes, I mean all. Aeronautics work in hypersonics directly supports entry, descent, and landing. We see capabilities such as the current Ingenuity helicopter on Mars just completed its 22nd flight, and the future Dragonfly aerial vehicle
helicopter on Mars.
We're going to continue to see the seams between air and space.
Que ela está fazendo de equipamentos a serem
and science, of course, is front and center
Marte,
in exploration. We have come so far since Apollo. So
a gente teve longo caminho desde as missões Apollo.
Had a scientific tool. It was a scoop that allowed them to pick up rocks, to put into a box and bring home.
Então ele está falando que os cientistas, os astronautas americanos pegavam as amostras de rocha umas garrafinhas, né, para trazer para ser estudadas aqui.
The science we will be able to do in situ with more sophisticated instruments. With maps of water ice and other resources available
Agora a gente está numa nova era, né, com novos
instrumentos para pesquisar
água no fundo de Marte
so
e da
that we
Lua,
can
né?
Have high-speed data returned to the Earth. Surface transportation that will allow us to rove further. And human and machine teaming capabilities.
De transporte lá
we
lunar
think they're going
podem
to transform
levar a maiores distâncias
on the moon
também.
and Mars. I referenced the Mars sample return earlier. That will be absolutely essential science to have. It will help shape and guide our moon to Mars science strategy.
Ela está ansiosa aí para receber as amostras de Marte.
Humans in the future.
Para nos
so now
ajudar
we're
aí
ready
nas
to move
estratégias,
just
né?
beyond a visit. In order to do that,
para mandar
we need to build a
humanos aí para o
scalable
futuro,
infrastructure capability to provide that foundation for living and working on another planet. I'm talking about communications, position, navigation, and timing, power,
navegação,
in-situ,
energia,
resource utilization, prepared landing areas, and other things. So just as NASA has done with commercial crew and commercial cargo, industry is looking
a tripulação comercial também,
to help us
né?
prove the business case for transportation and potentially these other infrastructure areas, and to help shape the rule of law that guides the new frontier,
o transporte lá
and to help create an environment
tanto para a Lua
where
como
industry's
Marte,
innovation
né? A ideia da
and
NASA é fazer
can continue to advance what's possible.
uma colônia lunar, né? Uma base lunar.
Our goal is to create a blueprint.
A blueprint
for sustained human presence and
presença humana sustentável através do sistema solar. Tá aí umas imagens de uma possível base lunar a ser instalada futuramente, né?
They will act as our guidepost over the next 2 decades.
As próximas 2 décadas são as nossas metas. Fazer a meta da NASA,
to help
né?
ensure that the things that we're
Fazer
doing
a colonização
are
lunar
integrated and stay focused on that goal.
E ficar com foco nessa meta de fazer a base lunar.
We are doing on the moon that gets us to Mars.
We
will practice developing this blueprint
para
on the moon,
Marte.
And then we will demonstrate it on Mars in preparation for other destinations.
E outros destinos após Marte também,
We don't undertake this responsibility lightly. Underpinning our approach is the essential belief that it's going to be a global effort. And by that I mean not only worldwide in a geographic sense, but also global in the sense that many fields, partners, and disciplines will have to be involved in this work. Yes, we need scientists and engineers.
Sim, nós precisamos de cientistas e engenheiros.
We need partnership with nations
Precisamos de parceiros comerciais, privados, internacionais. Precisamos da equipe da NASA,
citizen scientists,
de todos os países, todos os tipos, pequenos e grandes,
and those entering the workforce, and of course our
cientistas
mentors
de vários
who
locais
will
do
help
mundo,
pass on the
na
lessons
escola
that we
também,
have all fought to learn
incentivando os
over
novos
these many
jovens
decades.
a se
NASA
interessar por
is kicking
ciência, né?
off an effort for consultation
São
to define these objectives with our partners, both industry and international, so that we are addressing the priorities of nations and industry in developing this blueprint. We recognize that the things that we do will carry precedent.
Nós reconhecemos que o que nós estamos fazendo agora vai abrir precedentes.
In the spirit of peaceful exploration, it will mean adhering to our values of openness, transparency, shared data, and a commitment to norms to help us work together.
Os valores
we are
que a
helping to
Artemis tem,
establish that playing field through the Artemis Accords. I'm proud to say that Singapore joined us last week as the 18th signatory, and more are on the way.
Os acordos aí com
the Artemis
essas,
Accords are fairly simple. They're a set of principles grounded in the 1967 Outer Space Treaty, by which our signatories commit to behave in a rules-based, responsible way in their space exploration activities. They're based on universal principles that will enable the next generation of international partnerships for the exploration of the moon, Mars, and beyond. These principles encompass transparency, interoperability, deconflicting activities, and tackling critical issues such as orbital debris. Today, the accords don't answer every question, and we know that.
Os acordos não respondem todas as questões, mas
they have a commitment to start this conversation and bring us down a path
comprometimento
that is more rules-based.
Para começar as conversas globais, mundiais, aí, em torno da exploração
to bring
espacial.
The very best of humanity out into space.
Levar o melhor da humanidade para o espaço. Oh, que bonito.
Everything that I've been talking about is a long game, and that's the space business, right? You don't send a telescope a million miles away with 344 points of single failure to work through, or
mandar telescópio aí para o espaço
without a lot of planning.
Tem que ter muito planejamento,
né? Testes, sujeito a falhas de todo tipo, né? I've covered a lot of ground today, but I wanted to be sure that everyone was aware of the scope of the work that's going on in space and where we're focused.
Desafios que estamos
Just want to say, if you work in industry, you have a place in NASA's plans for the future.
Ela está falando para a galera da indústria também no simpósio, né? Então, você está dirigindo a eles, dizendo, ó, precisamos de vocês. A galera, parceiros comerciais, internacionais, da indústria privada também,
current and yet to come, I just say thank you.
Thank you.
Your expertise, perspective, and friendship will help us do what we do in a better way.
Nos ajudar a fazer o que nós sabemos fazer melhor, de modo melhor, né? Tá agradecendo aí os parceiros, legal isso.
Of going beyond low Earth orbit with humans is no longer deferred. It's a dream we can all share. And we at NASA look forward to working with all of you.
Nós da NASA estamos aqui querendo trabalhar com todos vocês aí. É um dream come true, dream come true. We're going to stay. Parabéns aí, Pam Melroy, astronauta da NASA, one-on-one with Robert Lincoln.
Thank you, Pam
Já entramos
Melroy.
já na segunda parte do
My
simpósio.
name is Shana Hume. I'm a PhD student at the University of Colorado Boulder, doing my research in Mars EL. I'm also a member of the Space Generation Advisory Council and the Deputy Manager for our annual Space Generation Congress, which this year will be held in Paris. However, most importantly today, I am also an alumni of the Matthew Isakowitz Fellowship Program, a pipeline to bring young leaders into commercial space in honor of Matthew Isakowitz.
Ela é aluna do Matthew Fellowship, programa Matthew
the
Fellowship.
Space Foundation introduced its one-on-one series at the last symposium conducted last
voos
August.
espaciais
For our
comerciais,
first
né?
one-on-one of this symposium, we are pleased to welcome back Mr. Christian Davenport of the Washington Post and the Executive Vice President of Lockheed Martin Space,
Presidente
Mr.
da
Robert
Lockheed
Lightfoot.
Space aí. Ela está chamando aí algumas pessoas que vão fazer o painel aí agora também, né? Robert Lightfoot. Então já é o próximo painel. Deixa eu dar uma pausa aqui. Enquanto ela chama os convidados lá. Deixa eu dar um pausezinho aqui. Vai entrar os próximos. Depois a gente entra e vê lá o que está acontecendo lá, tá? Falar mais um pouquinho então da importância aqui dessa participação da Pam Melroy aqui no Simpósio Espacial Internacional, que é um grande congresso aí de verificar os futuros aí. Qual é o futuro do espaço, né? Qual o futuro do espaço? É isso que a galera está discutindo ali. Agora um novo painel lá, depois a gente vê um pouquinho o que o pessoal está falando lá. Quero ressaltar um pouquinho mais essa força aí da NASA. A gente teve aí o Wet Dress Rehearsal da Artemis, o principal ensaio de vestido molhado, que é o pré-lançamento, que é para ver se todos os sistemas estão prontos para o lançamento da primeira missão Artemis aí à Lua, né? E tivemos 2 scrubs, que abortaram a missão. Um foi no dia 3 de abril, domingo, e o outro foi ontem, 4 de abril, segunda, um dia após o outro. Os testes foram abortados por alguns problemas. Quem acompanhou as minhas últimas lives aí viu aí o que foi que aconteceu, né? E aí a gente, essa semana, a NASA está pesquisando lá no Kennedy Space Center qual vai ser o próximo ensaio, né? Nesse cenário, então, de preparação da Artemis 1, a Pam Melroy, que é a segunda administradora mais importante lá nesse momento da NASA, ela representa o Bill Nelson, então, né? Que é o diretor da NASA. Ela é astronauta, pilota de teste. Quem lembra aí de Top Gun? A Kelly McGillis. Aquela parece um pouquinho com a Kelly McGillis, hein? Kelly McGillis, que foi a parceira lá, namoradinha de Tom Cruise no Top Gun, filme espetacular aí dos Ases Indomáveis. Kelly McGillis era a instrutora de voo lá, né? Lembra? Quando o Tom Cruise chegou lá para estudar e viu aquela instrutora, já apaixonou à primeira vista, toda loira, linda lá, né? E aquela McGillis, eu me lembrei dela aqui, porque a Pam Melroy é como se fosse uma Kelly McGillis da realidade. Ela é instrutora de voo também, pilota de teste, testa os aviões lá, 6.000 horas de voo. Vou comentar mais um pouquinho aqui do currículo dessa mulher, para a gente ter uma ideia aqui da força da NASA nesse momento, né? Instrutora, pilota de teste, fez teste em 50 tipos de aviões diferentes da Força Aérea Americana, né? Ela se aposentou em 2007, então ela é uma coronel aposentada aí da Força Aérea Americana. Ela é veterana de algumas operações militares também dos Estados Unidos, da Operação Tempestade de Areia, no Oriente Médio, com 200 horas de combate. É veterana também de combate também. Astronauta da NASA desde 1994, quando foi candidata, e trabalhou em algumas missões de controle lá. Na Colômbia, investigação do acidente da Colômbia, ela participou também, e é uma das 2 mulheres a comandar um Space Shuttle, né? direto lá para a ISS, 38 dias no espaço, uma das únicas 2 mulheres a fazer isso, né? E ela coordena todas aí as operações executivas da NASA no momento, junto com Bill Nelson, né? A diretora executiva, é formada em física, astronomia e mestre em ciências planetárias da Terra pelo MIT. Meu Deus do céu, olha o currículo dessa mulher. Ela contou um pouquinho, então, das estratégias para a exploração da Lua, o Artemis 1, 2 e 3. Ela não entrou em muitos detalhes, não. Ela não falou muitos detalhes do programa, que, enfim, acho que não é o local aqui também, o simpósio, é mais para dar um overview mesmo, uma geralzona do programa. Então, ela falou um pouquinho do Artemis 1, 2 e 3, sem dar os detalhes. Os detalhes a gente vai observar em outra hora aí. Então, ela falou um pouquinho da Artemis, comentou aí de outros programas da NASA também, em satélites, telescópios, o Perseverance, que ela está ansiosa para receber uma amostra lunar ali, amostra do solo de Marte, né, marciano. Então ela está ansiosa para que essa amostra chegue também do Perseverance, para que seja estudada aí junto da estratégia Lua-Marte, fazer a base de colonização na Lua, e em seguida a de Marte também. Tem colegas aí chegando aí, ó, Grandmaster 4, Grandmaster UV Supman. Um abraço, um forte abraço aqui, direto do Brasil. Você que está assistindo aí, não sei se tem tradução aí, direto do português aí, para a tua língua aí, mas vamos que vamos. Eu estou fazendo uma retransmissão do Simpósio Espacial Internacional, que é o principal simpósio espacial, né, no momento aqui. Olá, hombre. Olha lá, também fala espanhol também. La marihuana e NASA. La marihuana e NASA. É isso aí. La marihuana e NASA. Gostei aí da observação do colega aqui, ó. La marihuana e NASA together, my friend, together. Isso aí. Gostei aí da observação aí do Grandmaster, colocando um ETzinho ali também. Show de bola, seja bem-vindo aí. Falando um pouquinho aqui, então, voltando aqui para Pam Melroy, então. A Pam Melroy. A Pam Melroy, então, falou um pouquinho lá do Perseverance, então, das amostras que ela está ansiosa que vem aí, e comentou um pouquinho aí da estratégia da exploração Lua-Marte. Beleza? E esse foi o nosso objetivo, falar um pouquinho da PEN. Agora a gente tem outro simpósio aqui que está falando dos parceiros privados junto à NASA. Vamos voltar para lá, ver o que a galera está falando. Mas, enfim, a live, o objetivo já está feito. Agora nós vamos para os 45 minutos aí do segundo tempo, já entrando no segundo tempo. Beleza, quem acompanhou? Deus abençoe. O colega aí já está... O Grandmaster está... Sim. Isso aí, um forte abraço aí. Tamo junto e misturado aí. La marihuana e NASA. Gostei. Space Symposium, NASA Pam Melroy. Acabamos de terminar, então, essa transmissão. Vamos ver um pouquinho agora o que essa galerinha está falando aqui, então, sobre os parceiros privados aqui da exploração espacial. Vamos ver aqui, vamos dar uma olhada. Deixa eu habilitar o som aqui também. La marihuana e NASA. Ai. É isso aí. Cadê? Achei.
Just a minute ago, in terms of setting up these commercial LEO destinations that we can go to. If you think about from a strategic perspective, we had to kind of solve launch. We needed better access to space, right? More affordable access to space. And I think a lot of work has gone on to do that.
Ela está falando algum lançamento, melhores estratégias para o espaço aí, de quem aí? Vamos ver quem é que está falando
pretty
aí.
Well in terms of the architectures they're trying to put in place. Obviously, we're part of that with Voyager. There's others out there as well working on that. But the real goal here is to have more destinations and more opportunity for folks, and we think we can be part of that. And I think the agency's got a plan.
A agência tem um plano. Qual é a agência que ele está falando aqui? Vamos ver.
NASA had already started down this path, and I think that's an important one to do.
And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about, we talk about partnerships with industry, and
parcerias com a indústria privada, né?
Artemis or Moon to Mars or commercial
programa
LEO,
Artemis,
that takes not just NASA
estratégia Lua para Marte,
these international partnerships. I wonder if you could just talk a little bit about that and what that means now that you're on the industry side.
Well,
falar pouquinho mais dessas estratégias de parceria, né?
So when I was with NASA, we spend a lot of time with a lot of our allies in country for a couple of reasons. First of all, to help them with their missions, right? That's an important thing for us, but also to help develop their economy, their industry. That's one of our
então, para desenvolver a economia, a indústria de alguns países, né? Em que
right? So that's one of the things we really try to do.
Eu acho que não sei se é
it helps our supply chain, it helps our base, and gives us the resiliency in that part of the people often forget about that part of resiliency. You got to have the supply chain that's resilient. So
a cadeia de suprimento aí, então,
UK, the Middle East, from a space standpoint, seeing how we can operate with them to help them meet their national goals, right? But also
alguns países já que falou, Austrália, Reino Unido,
for supply chain, but also providing them their missions. So it's a constant.
É uma cadeia de suprimento, né? Para chegar aí nas metas aí das missões, né?
In different ways, but now we're able to really get out and get focused again on that. I mean, you just look at the conference here this week.
Olha para essa conferência agora, ele tá elogiando aí o Pop Symposium, né? Cheio de galera aí. Importante aí, conversando junto,
that's been kind of a fun thing going through that. But I think the international partnership is really important.
Importante as parcerias internacionais.
Supply chain as much as you can, right, with your allies. So
para terem os aliados bem próximos aí nas cadeias de suprimento.
Let's pivot and talk about Orion for a minute.
Falou, mas
deu uma olhada aí, né? Não deu detalhes também. Last, now it's up stacked on top of the SLS on the pad. Going through that wet dress rehearsal, I guess.
Falando do wet dress rehearsal, agora sai de vestido molhado da Artemis, que teve alguns scrubs, né?
Because you've had some time to work on it, and then from your perspective, any updates on rollout or the wet dress rehearsal? I guess we're going to hear from NASA later in the day on that, but curious from your point of view.
É sobre o rollout e o wet dress rehearsal. Então ele falar um pouquinho sobre isso, que é o ensaio pré-lançamento, que todos aí os foguetes passam, né?
The majority of the systems are there now. We'll add some more in between Artemis 1 and
Orion,
Artemis 2.
Então está sendo desenvolvido desde 2014. Eles participam do desenvolvimento da nave espacial Orion, né? Que vai lá em cima do foguete Artemis, né?
DD-250 over to NASA, and so we're just excited and waiting.
Com tripulação também, Orion com tripulação, eles estão trabalhando nisso, né?
We'll hear from NASA today where they are on status, but much
eles estão ansiosos, participaram então do Artemis 2, que é a nave Orion com tripulação, né? Eles estão ansiosos lá com o wet dress rehearsal, né? É normal aí o
so we're excited about that, excited about sending Orion to the moon.
The bugs, né?
It's going to be a fun mission. And
to get ready to fly.
One of my colleagues said once, right before the 2014
o foguete prontinho lá para voar, né? Send Orion to the moon.
Every once in a while, you need hardware to talk to you. And that's what it's going to do when it goes on this mission. It'll talk to us, and we'll learn even more, and then we'll be ready when we're ready to throw crew up on Artemis 2. So it's exciting.
Tem muito trabalho para se fazer ainda, desde 2014 que eles estão desenvolvendo a nave Orion.
From my NASA days, and now here on the Lockheed Martin side.
Yeah. And we have a couple
Lockheed
minutes
Martin,
left, so
então é da Lockheed Martin, então está desenvolvendo a nave Spacecraft Orion, que vai lá no topo do foguete Artemis, que vai carregar os astronautas para a Lua, né?
Make to the spacecraft going forward, and how you prepare for all of that.
Como que você prepara aí
pretty focused. We're already working on Artemis 3. I mean, there's
falando de Artemis 3 agora.
Hardware. That's being worked on all the time. The upgrades will be based on the missions.
Artemis 3 é que vai ter o pouso lunar, né?
We'll do for each flight.
Estão trabalhando no hardware aí.
Just follow the cadence as NASA lays out the schedule to get those on board. If you look bigger picture, Chris, at what the future looks like. I mean, I think when I look at our role of protect, connect, and explore at Lockheed Martin, there's one kind of fundamental piece of that, and our
job uma peça fundamental quando você olha a pintura completa.
Where the astronauts, it's not just going to the moon; it's bringing them home. And you think about the warfighters that are on the line every day. Our systems bring them home.
Lua, mas trazer os astronautas
seguros
para de volta para casa, né? Bring them home.
Said, thank you for coming and speaking. I just want you to know I'm here because Lockheed Martin Systems saved my life twice.
Agradeceu a galera que está participando aí.
When you think about that kind of puts a real fine point on what we do every day. And for us, it's about speed, sense of urgency, and really competing with time. There's a lot of competitors out here. I don't feel like I'm competing with them nearly as much as I'm time. And every day matters, and you see what happens with going on in the world today. that competing with time matters, and our job is to bring folks home. And that's what we do every
Nosso
day.
trabalho
So,
é trazer a tripulação para casa. Olha que bonito isso, né? Então não é nem mandar os caras para a Lua, é trazer eles seguros de volta para a Terra, né?
Thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate it. And best of luck.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the conference.
Thank you.
Abraço. Um dos diretores aí da Lockheed Martin está trabalhando aí na Orion. Ele disse aí que já estão trabalhando forte aí no Artemis 3, né? Que é a missão que vai pousar a galera na Lua em 2024.
Space Symposium. I'd now like to invite our first panel to the stage. We are delighted to be joined by a cohort of NASA senior leadership. Together on stage for our session, Artemis and Industry, Building the Space Economy.
Artemis e Indústria, construindo a economia espacial. A Lauren está transmitindo aí, com os panelistas da Kenneth Bowerson, James Free da NASA, James Helter e Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen. Vamos ouvir um pedaço aí desse painel aí, que tem uma galera fera aí para falar um pouquinho sobre essa conjunção aí da economia privada com a governamental, que é o orçamento da NASA, que vem do Congresso americano, né? Então, Artemis, NASA e indústria, construindo essa economia espacial together and forever, to the moon and beyond. Vamos assistir um pedacinho desse painel, então.
And now, the panel.
And now, the panel. O Grandmaster tá aí de novo. Lockheed Martin, Wilker Martin. Gostei. Primeiro veio com a Marijuana e NASA, né? La Marijuana e NASA eu já adorei. Agora vem o Grandmaster com Lockheed Martin e Wilker Martin.
All right, good morning, everyone. Whether you're joining us here in beautiful Colorado Springs or virtually, welcome.
Amei.
And thank you so much for joining us for today's panel titled Artemis and Industry, Building the Space Economy.
Building the Space Economy.
I am joined by a stellar group of NASA leaders for today's discussion. We have Jim Free, head of NASA Exploration Systems Development, Ken Bowersox, who, together with Kathy Líderes, leads the Space Operations Mission Directorate, Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen, head of NASA Science, and Jim Reuter, head of NASA Space Technology.
Jim Reuter da NASA Technology também. Só a galera fera lá da NASA, né?
On the space economy and industry partnerships, I'd like to provide a brief overview to ensure that our wonderful audience has all of the fundamentals. After that, I'll transition it to each of our panelists for initial remarks. So with that, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's get started,
Artemis is NASA's lunar exploration program. And it's important to understand that Artemis isn't just one mission.
Artemis não é uma
missão
só,
increasingly complex missions, paving the way for lunar surface missions
para as missões
with the first woman and first person of color, as well as future missions to send astronauts to Mars.
Primeira mulher e primeira pessoa
Artemis will
negra.
turn science fiction into reality as we learn to live and work off-world. There are several key elements to the Artemis mission architecture. Artemis uses the Space Launch Systems rocket, which is the largest ever built, the Orion crew spacecraft, a gateway spacecraft in lunar orbit, and cutting-edge exploration ground systems and astronaut landing systems. And it's always important to talk about the why, even in an audience of people who love space as much as we all do. We're going back to the moon for scientific discovery, economic benefits, and
benefícios econômicos, pesquisas espaciais, para quem não sabe, porque nós estamos indo à Lua, né?
In collaboration with industry, commercial, and international partners, we will establish the first long-term presence on the moon. While maintaining American leadership in exploration, we will build a global alliance and explore deep space for the benefit of all. Humanity's historic return to the moon takes flight this year with the Artemis 1 launch. Artemis 1 is an uncrewed flight test targeted for no earlier than late May, which will allow NASA to check out rocket and spacecraft systems before crew fly aboard Artemis 2.
Eletrônicos,
Artemis 1 uncrewed, Artemis 2 crewed, and future uncrewed lander demonstration missions with SpaceX will precede the Artemis 3 mission when astronauts will land on the moon. We'll use what we learn on and around the moon to take that next giant leap, sending astronauts to Mars. With that, I will conclude Artemis 101. I hope that you're all still awake, and turn it over to our NASA leaders, beginning with Jim Free.
É botar os pés em Marte.
Lauren. I feel like you just gave my talk.
So what Lauren said. 1969,
let's see. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with my NASA colleagues. And I guess I'll just give a quick minute on Artemis 1, since that seems to be the elephant in the room. It's been tremendous to watch the team. I was at KSC till late yesterday and flew here last night. And,
James Free, que é o administrador, então, da NASA,
together for the first time, dealing with interesting
Tá falando um
commodities
pouquinho aí
and
da
large
construção do
quantities
veículo
like
Artemis também, pela primeira vez, né?
learning
Os
about how all
desafios
these
do wet dress
systems come
rehearsal,
together.
né?
So the test yesterday,
O teste ontem, vai falar do teste ontem.
get some LOX flow into the tank on the core stage. And that was all due to the team really figuring out in real time what was happening on the vehicle, adjusting and getting that flowing. So we didn't get through everything we wanted, but certainly learned a great deal that we'll take into our next attempt. We will follow Axiom on the range. Pam talked about that cooperation. That's another cooperation that we have. We need to get the Axiom mission done so we can get Crew 4, and we waited for Transporter 4 to launch on Friday in order to do our test. So great, I'll say, synergies across there. There's a press conference later today with
Artemis
some of the
seems
folks
to
that
be the
kind of walk through a
elephant
little
in
bit
the
more
room.
detail,
Oh,
and they'll
elefante
give you
na
our
sala, meu Deus do
possibilities.
céu, coitada
I'll
da
address the other
Artemis.
elephant in the room. We are working on having launch commentary.
Artemis, vai dar certo, vai dar
I know that's
certo,
been
vai dar certo.
something that folks really want, and I understand that. We're working towards that for launch.
Vamos voar,
Actively working it even yesterday with our public affairs folks. Our mission is to work across all of NASA. Pam talked about that, working all 5 mission directorates. We obviously have a strong partnership with SOMD as we develop hardware and hand it over to them for operations. Our Artemis architecture is built on science to get science back. I told our congressional folks the other day, Thomas opened the last sample from Apollo.
A última amostra da Apollo de 50 anos, né? O Thomas abriu, né? Algumas semanas atrás eu passei essa live aqui. Quem assistiu, assistiu. Quem não assistiu, pode assistir lá de novo. Então ele está falando que essa tecnologia que nós temos hoje é muito melhor para analisar essas amostras trazidas da Apollo 17. Apollo 17, abertas agora, 50 anos depois.
Based on services from other people using spacesuits in the future. The lander contract that Pam mentioned, that we're developing the next set of landers that can then be a services contract where other people can use those landers for their own purposes. And we have Gateway, where we have logistics to Gateway as a service. We just put out an RFI for additional Gateway opportunities. So for me, economic opportunities are all over. Our architecture leverages private investment.
É uma oportunidade, então, de desenvolvimento econômico, oportunidades aí com os privados.
To use those commercial capabilities for our own,
oportunidades comerciais. Para quem diz aí que tem que ser privado, igual o professor Gilberto, nós falamos aqui na live ontem, né, Gilberto?
Economic opportunities that then feed what we need to do.
Não é só deixar no privado, não, viu? É o que o Jim está falando aqui, ó. Tem que ser uma parceria. A NASA coordenando as operações, o privado participando. Artemis já é um programa privado também, né? O Moonlander, que o Jim Free acabou de falar, é a SpaceX que está construindo.
Hi, I'm Ken Bowersox
já é uma parceria privada
Space
também,
Operations. Né? It's really wonderful to be here in Colorado
Kenneth
Springs with all
Bowerson
of you.
Agora. Kenneth Bowersox.
It's neat to see how people interact here and how relationships are built that will be indispensable in building the space economy. There are a lot of ways if you want to make the space economy bigger. One way is just grow the federal budget and spend more money. Another way is to bring in private capital.
o que ele está falando. Uma hora você deixar todo o orçamento para o público ou também trazer o capital privado, né? Tem que ser uma balança entre os dois, né?
But I think it's got the biggest potential for helping us accomplish the things that we want to do in space exploration.
Então é um potencial aí de fazer todos os nossos objetivos espaciais, essa parceria público-privada, é o que eu defendo aqui no Brasil. Ter parceria público-privada, defenda a Petrobras, defenda os Correios, não privatizar, não. Talvez colocar dinheiro internacional, abrir o capital um pouco, sim, mas ter o controle do Estado é importantíssimo também, tá? Petrobras, aí, Correios, olha aí. E aí, aqui a exploração espacial é a mesma coisa, a NASA aqui tendo uma função importante junto aí com os parceiros internacionais.
Some of the control that we had.
Então, o governo americano controlando aí, tendo controle, é importante, ele está ressaltando isso aí, o administrador da NASA.
We can get so much more back. And I think we're going to see that trend continue into Artemis, and I think it has a lot of wonderful potential as we explore further out into the solar system.
Então, ele está dizendo que a Artemis já é essa parceria público-privada, e ele está esperando os próximos programas também.
Jim already mentioned that, of course, science is an important part of Artemis, and we see it both as a responsibility and an opportunity. The responsibility for us to provide the information that helps us pick the right landing sites.
É o Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen agora falando também, né? Que também é da NASA, um artigo bom da NASA.
Information about resources on the moon
os recursos da Lua.
In various regions. And therefore provide information for the technology side of the house, the operation side of the house, to really make sure our presence back at the moment becomes sustainable. The opportunity is overwhelming for us also. What we can do is with this new space economy, we can do missions, we can do work.
Nós podemos fazer missões, podemos fazer trabalhos aí com essa economia global aí.
What I mean with that, of course,
né?
is in Artemis 3,
nós podemos fazer muitos trabalhos. Agora está falando um pouquinho da Artemis 3.
To really get the maximum science out of this.
Para tirar o máximo de ciência dessa parceria.
We have virtual reality, we have, kind of the communication system that is being built and is being deployed by Sox and his team,
sistemas de comunicação
and the
que estão sendo construídos
that is being built with Jim and his commercial team.
Time, né?
Basically have the opportunity of doing amazing science. The
já
way
we treat
aqui,
o parceiro industrial Sox,
like
né?
we treat any other mission,
nós temos a oportunidade aí de fazer a ciência importante aí junto com o privado e o público, né?
And we build a science and technology definition team for that. So
James Webb aí falou também
that's
sobre
opportunity.
Isso.
We're really excited about it. Yes, we opened that sample because, frankly, it seemed to me we believe that there's new samples coming. So let's make sure that the community is ready to really address those samples. They need to practice again, really deploy that excitement of doing this sample analysis, looking at questions that, frankly, at the Apollo time period were crazy. Questions about volatiles. Sometimes we refer to them as water. Volatiles, which, of course, we could use for fuel.
Está falando no tempo das missões Apollo, no período da Apollo, tinha algumas questões que não temos hoje.
About the moon itself and its history, information we didn't know as even 15 years ago.
Agradeceu a quantidade de informação que a missão Apollo trouxe, né?
But also in this case, the responsibility, because that information is absolutely critical as we go forward and look at ISRUs and so forth. Well, we're not waiting for Artemis 3, though, to go to the moon, and we're really excited at the commercial lunar payload services. Now, everybody who has paid attention realizes that it's, we wanted to launch some of these missions last year. I want to tell you that we struggled in a number of missions with COVID supply chain issues, but also, frankly, these are the first missions.
Está falando do atraso que algumas missões tiveram, né?
With Astrobotic, with its 11 payloads that will go to the surface of the moon,
and
Intuitive Machines with another 6 payloads, and then, frankly, one in partnership with you. What has happened with the commercial lunar payload services, with the various contracts there, it created kind of an innovative flywheel that has, frankly, created an amount of innovation in planetary instrumentation and technology that we haven't seen. We haven't seen in decades.
que a gente nunca viu em décadas aí, o tanto de tecnologia junto aí de vários parceiros comerciais. Vai falar uma delas.
When the sun and the Earth are on the same side of the moon. The far side of the moon is really
lado escuro da Lua, então,
quiet. And when Jupiter and Saturn are also on the same side of the moon, as is the sun and the Earth. So it's full moon on Earth.
Quando Júpiter e Saturno estão no mesmo lado da Lua,
it's the most radio quiet place in the solar system.
É o lugar mais quieto na face do sistema solar.
Coming up with new technologies to make sure they can make measurements during the dark side there to look at the universe in ways we've never been able to do. We're doing that with the Department of Energy. That's one of many of those technologies we couldn't have dreamt to do it. Viper, of course, the rover that will go, in mid-decade here. We're getting ready for. I just recently was there. I want you to know that every single instrument on Viper is already on a lander going to the moon before.
Cada pequeno instrumento ali já esteve na Lua antes, né? Que ele está falando da história da tecnologia que a Apollo é muito importante nisso.
Start driving new development paradigms, can take
Você
more
pode
risk,
fazer novos parâmetros de desenvolvimento
that are otherwise not there, and create, of course, a community that will be available for you, for you, Jim, if you need that community, and of course, for the important technology you do, Jim. So why don't you take over?
All right. Well, thank you, Thomas.
Passou a bola pro Jim de novo.
It's a great pleasure for me to be here, especially with my esteemed colleagues and working together as we do. We in Space Tech pursue transformative technologies for both human and robotic mission enabling.
James Helter, Associate Administrator. James Helter está falando um pouquinho da SpaceX, então, né?
All of us, a core element of what we're doing is to inspire the next generation. We developed this through a broad portfolio across the entire technology readiness level scale. We work for things all the way from very low early stage activities to mid TRL, demonstrating the lab, and all the way to flying. A core element of what we try to do is get across those valleys of death, as we talk about, and get into an infusion path. And I'll say the clips and other opportunities that are there just are a tremendous resource for us. I like to say
ele falou muito rápido aqui, eu não captei aqui muito bem aqui o que está dizendo aqui, não. Sobre SpaceX,
when we deploy a problem or try to solve a problem, we use our SBIRs, we use tipping point solicitations and in-house activities and stuff, and look across that and research grants across that to try to have a coordinated effort in addressing a problem. And we can do that in large part, and it results in, we have about 140 or so flight demonstrations on the books for what we're doing, and when you consider a lot of the smaller
140 demonstrações de voo
projects overall
de que estão fazendo aí, né?
And when we get to a mid to high TRL, a big push for us is to do so in a public-private partnership, because it is just a game changer of how different it is today with the space economy the way it is there is a lot of private capital that we can leverage, and we get the much stronger product as a result.
Então ele está citando aí, reforçando que o capital privado é muito importante. Aí tem muito capital privado agora, junto aí com a NASA também, né?
What we had from what we've seen so far, and what we're hearing as we talk to people here is it will be far and away a record for us in terms of number of solicitations. And I can tell you it's going to be some fantastic stuff. I'm always amazed at the creativity of these. A big part of what we do is to support Artemis, both in the human and robotic side. The solar electric propulsion system that supports the gateway power and propulsion element.
Então, o principal meta é suportar os sistemas de recursos da Artemis, né? O sistema de propulsão elétrico
that also is deployed on DART and also
Orion,
on the ISS,
among
other places. That started with about a dozen SBIRs. And then through time we developed it, and it was taken over by missions as we went through. A great success story. We fly. It was mentioned by Pam, I think, that the Capstone Mission, which is a small 12U CubeSat, size of a small microwave oven, and it'll be going into the near Earth,
CubeSat do tamanho de micro-ondas.
Gateway orbit, the near rectilinear halo orbit and stuff. And it'll be a first time to demonstrate this in a very small package and very creative.
Que vai ficar lá na órbita do Gateway.
On the lunar surface, we have over 30 technologies
eu não estou muito por dentro dessa tecnologia, não, que são os CubeSats pequenininhos,
doing all kinds of things
eu ainda não compreendi como funcionam direito aí esses CubeSats, não.
And that sustainable presence means
e aí o Lunar Lander,
deploy, how do we utilize in situ resource utilization? Are there construction activities that we can do, and so on? How do we access areas that are extremely hard and difficult to reach? All that in concert with universities and with the industry and within our own NASA
difíceis de acessar no polo sul da Lua.
There's two other things that we try to develop as we go through this consortium. One of the areas that we're trying to have in order to develop our lunar surface system into a sustainable presence. A big part of that is to engage the community as we go along. And so the reason we established the Lunar Surface Innovation Consortium is to gain
consórcio aí da exploração
communication with the entire
superfície lunar, né? São sistemas de superfície lunar. É um grande desafio aí, né, de coordenar toda essa operação, esses
participate on a regular basis.
Sistemas.
And with that, it's
600 organizações participando.
Over 600 organizations that participate across all 50 states.
Sistemas de superfície lunar. 600
and then just kind of to wrap up, there's a couple things we also look for. It's not just a sustainable presence on the moon, but what do we look for? And what are the tall poles in reaching and going humans to Mars? There's three key activities that we have ongoing now to do so. First item is a deep space optical communications demonstration that's on the Psyche mission for Thomas, and we'll be demonstrating from
então comunicação de espaço profundo é o primeiro lugar, né?
From beyond.
É uma das missões principais aí para o Thomas, já falou do colega ali, né?
Pam mentioned that when she
sistema de comunicações óticas
de Marte também. A hypersonic decelerator that's an inflatable.
E Loft Demonstrations, que eu não entendi o que é.
A public-private partnership with ULA. And we're demonstrating a 6-meter inflatable system to large heavy payloads.
Está falando aqui alguns detalhes técnicos aqui do sistema de superfície lunar.
Large payloads on the moon at 20 tons or so. And then also, this is a time for us to be developing nuclear systems. Nuclear fission surface power is in our budget.
Sistemas de potência nuclear aí, né? Nuclear systems.
Early development activities for nuclear propulsion. And so it's an exciting time. I've never seen a more exciting time than right now.
São tempos desafiantes aí, excelentes. Ele agradeceu a todo mundo, né?
You all did great. They were teasing me before this. We have opening remarks.
Vocês todos foram ótimos. Ela está agradecendo aí os 4 panelistas que falaram. Vamos para as perguntas.
Space economy just a little bit further and go deeper into that. So that's kind of the focus area for this panel. But for a lot of us, I think the concept of a space economy is still relatively new and perhaps not specifically defined. So what does the space economy mean to you, and why is Artemis key to building it? Jin, would you start?
Porque a exploração econômica é tão fundamental e a Artemis também.
Commercial LEO destinations, not to steal from Ken here, but that's key to us. We have things we're buying down on space station today. When space station reaches the end of life, we'll continue to use the commercial LEO destinations, which to me is a great example of the space economy, to do our buy down a risk for lunar and Mars missions, to take advantage of that microgravity where we can cycle payloads up and down.
Ele está falando pouco da estação espacial e as pesquisas em microgravidade.
As the space economy, I think Pam talked about it, about folks early in their career, about the opportunities. Many of you here that bring those opportunities, we have that to benefit from as we develop our architecture to go to Mars. So we'll have keep our architecture open as technologies develop in other parts of the space economy that can then
então, as estratégias para Marte envolvem tecnologias junto aí com os parceiros na economia. Eles chamam aqui de economia espacial, né?
Excellent.
I mean, to me, the space economy is just the production of goods and services in space.
Space economy é a produção de bens e serviços no espaço. A definição que ele deu foi bem interessante. Economia espacial, produção de bens e serviços no espaço.
And I think there are lots of ways that we can develop it.
Tem vários modos de desenvolver essa economia
espacial.
The
best way is to bring in more and more participants and watch
o melhor modo é trazer bastante participantes,
both government missions and non-government missions.
Tanto governamentais como não governamentais. Foi bem rápido aí o colega aí, deu uma definição boa do que é economia espacial.
One of the things I really want us to do is continually ask what are the opportunity spaces that are
Quais são as oportunidades no espaço que nós ainda não conhecemos?
Science per dollar, and we use the tools that are there, so we can in fact become first customers in some of these new places, or we can take advantage of opportunities that
nós podemos tirar a vantagem de ser os primeiros a explorar alguma determinada descoberta,
the space station, together with our international partners, you really taught us, I believe, and kind of taught the science community. The science community was very much used to building their own stuff all by themselves. Like what happens, frankly, on the space station, you have more payloads than we can accommodate.
Então, ensinar as nações a construir sua própria ciência espacial, mas ter uma coordenação também de exploração espacial. Commercial Space Station, estações espaciais comerciais. Nós não queremos ser os donos dessas companhias, é o que ele está dizendo. A NASA não quer ser dona de nada.
Because my worry is I will squeeze all the commercial spirit out of them.
Ela não quer tirar o espírito comercial daquilo, né? Então, além da exploração científica, desenvolvimento, ter o lado desenvolvimento comercial e econômico, por isso chama Space Economy, economia espacial, que o outro colega traduziu muito bem, né? Produção de bens e serviços
and what I'd say is the space economy right now is defined by the consumption of resources for the betterment and use of space.
Consumo de recursos para melhor uso espacial,
and I suspect it'll get here faster than we think. And for us, as I said, that really equates to now it's not just the venture capitalists that are highly, that are geeks for space. It's also much more conventional people who are looking for opportunities, and yes,
não são só os capitalistas que estão interessados no espaço, né? Mas pessoas convencionais aí também, né?
And that leads us to being able to take advantage
muitas
of that
oportunidades aí para investimento.
That community is obviously low Earth orbit, suborbital orbit, geo and stuff is obviously a mainstay right now.
Os vários tipos de órbitas aí, geoestacionárias também, né?
And the utilization of that
os vários tipos de possíveis usos aí, né? Da ciência desenvolvida.
So as we move, I guess, into this space economy that's continuing to develop and grow, we know that we need vision, we need talent, but we also need resources.
De visão, talento e recursos.
Can you help us understand, from your perspective, espacial, né? How the recently released NASA budget supports Artemis and the goals that we have?
O orçamento da NASA suporta essas missões aí.
All right.
Sobre o orçamento, agora é grana, né?
The budget supports us with our SLS and Orion vehicles that we need.
O SLS e o Orion estão atendidos aí pelo budget.
Getting to Artemis 3.
Até o Artemis 3. Até o Artemis 3 já está pago.
It supports us starting
até o
this
desenvolvimento
next
do lander
lander
lá na Lua que a SpaceX vai fazer também, né?
What I think we NASA need to continue to focus on is
pago, então,
where can we maximize those dollars in the budget to get to go after things that other folks have already developed,
então ela está pensando em maximizar os dólares investidos no orçamento do Artemis
and project work. I talked at the beginning about the relationship between exploration systems development and space operations. Our vision is to hand over programs to space operations when they finish development, and each one looks a little bit different. But how we do that is intended to free up dollars to come back and start the next development. If we don't do that, then the budget that request is there today and in the future is not of value. That's why these mission directives were set up, and that's completely our job.
Está falando que o desenvolvimento é contínuo ali, juntos com o parceiro, não está garantido até Artemis 3, e que tiver algumas modificações no caminho, precisa ter ajustes, né? Para melhorar os sistemas e continuar a garantir aí o orçamento.
In Space Ops, we have resources to do lots of great things with commercial LEO platforms, continuing our commercial crew and cargo capabilities for the International Space Station, maintain the International Space Station, do new activities there, and set up some new commercial approach to procuring communication services. So there's a lot in the budget that we're allowed to do. The vision part, I think, is harder for us to try and exactly see where we're going and what we need to do, and to stay out of the way as our commercial partners.
Para saber onde vamos e o que estamos fazendo aí, junto com os parceiros, tem que ter uma visão muito adequada e correta.
Sort of a unified regulatory framework, because developing the space economy is in NASA's interest. We have taken on a lot ourselves, where we try to facilitate the growth of different commercial entities,
framework regulatório da NASA, que é
unificação
desses projetos, alguém controlando,
centralizando essas informações and into other parts of the government. And we're already seeing discussions there, and that's one way you'll know the economy is growing is work that NASA's doing now will move to commerce and the FAA, and we're seeing it start, and we'll see more of it.
And from the talent
Agência
side,
Federal Americana.
There's a number of companies that tell us how they're having a hard time holding on to their talent because the companies are growing in their neighborhood. And I always thought, what an amazing thing if you're an entrant into this industry, because people are chasing you around town. And I'm like, that's an amazing thing. So if I see people that I used to teach, used to be in my classroom.
É um professor, né? Estou dizendo que é muito legal ver pessoas novas entrando e com novas ideias, né? Como se fossem alunos dele aqui nos 10 anos de aula que ele deu aqui, né? Em posições de liderança nas companhias, né? O professor está ressaltando aqui a importância desses novos profissionais, novos cientistas aí, aderindo às novas companhias. Essa nova geração que está atrás dos programas, com novas oportunidades, com desafios profissionais importantes aí para a economia espacial.
Coming out of schools now, and kind of the opportunities that they have going forward, including some of these skill sets such as welding and kind of manufacturing that are so needed in so many of these industries.
Legal, ele ressaltou o papel aqui das universidades e escolas aqui também, né? E produzindo aí mentes aí que vão estar à frente desses desenvolvimentos, né? Está falando do budget do SpaceX para 2023, que é suficiente para manter aí o programa até Artemis 3.
To really, how do we operate with the community to ensure innovativeness and creativity as we're going along? And the more we do things where we kind of leave open this trade space and have an open thought of how we do of what they might accomplish. The Cliffs is a great example of that, and the payloads that are there as well. And wherever we give something, we're not quite as prescriptive. Creative things happen.
Esse último colega fala muito rápido, eu não consigo pegar o que ele está falando. Como uma profissional nova agora, ela está agradecendo aí, falando das oportunidades para os jovens aí. Está agradecendo aí, né? Muito fantástico aí para os graduados saindo aí, entrando nas indústrias. Os próximos parceiros
to join this whole mission for Artemis. And I think, and Jim, I'll start with you because I think you mentioned some of that just a little bit in your
para se juntar às missões a
What I would say is probably the first way that you need in order to get engaged, is to have a really good idea.
Have a good idea. Tem que ter ideias boas. Tem que ter ideias boas aí.
And you have a prospect for going to get it. Then we have a lot of solicitations across the board here with that NASA, where some of those ideas can be brought out. For us, if you're a small business, a great place to start is a small business innovative research. Because there's several hundred small contracts that we have for a year to check it out, along with a lot of other solicitations. I mentioned the tipping point that's going now.
Muitos centenas de contratos de pesquisa que a NASA está fazendo aí.
to communicate with the community. I mentioned the Lunar Surface Consortium that we have.
O consórcio da superfície lunar é muito importante lá de mencionar, está mencionando aqui de novo, né? É um ótimo lugar aí para a galera desenvolver pesquisas aí, né? E para ver o que está acontecendo no centro lá da NASA, John Hopkins.
And with that framework, we've identified the outcomes that we're trying to achieve, and then the capabilities that we need to have.
Tem uma estratégia de tecnologia bem desenvolvida lá, John Hopkins.
And those are things that we've developed now through our
metas lá, atingir,
to put those things into where is our desired future to be. And our intent is here in the next couple months, every couple months, is to release in 4 sets these activities, so we get feedback.
Então sempre reforçar
it's a two-way thing, so you can see better what we're thinking from a technology standpoint, and also help guide us.
Conjunto de meses aí, reforçar essas estratégias de pesquisa,
but start with your good idea
tecnologia, né?
Start working it.
Excellent.
Start
Any
working.
other ideas, thoughts on how we can get involved? Got excited people out here in the audience that want to
Tem
join
muitas
Artemis?
pessoas interessantes aí, citadas aí
na
plateia, como a gente pode ficar envolvido.
I'll say forward-leaning engagements with industry across the board, big to small, where we understand where those entities are going with the work they'd like to pursue, understand how it helps the overall architecture that we have, and figure out where are those opportunities that we can utilize that technology, and work with Jim to figure out calls that can elicit the things we're trying to buy down in our architecture. So that's been led by Greg Chavers and Doug Craig. I know they're here, they're involved. I think
Então ele está falando dos colegas, tem o Greg, Craig aqui e outro aqui, são colegas envolvidos na pesquisas de aprendizagem, né? Aprendizagem junto com a indústria.
That's the way to understand. Here's what company X wants to pursue. How can we help further that? How can we utilize that? Much like we do with our critical international partners too.
Yeah. You know, I think to get involved, the most important thing is a passion for the work.
Muito importante ser apaixonado no trabalho, né?
It's been fun to watch the small companies
ter ideias criativas.
Just like the big companies.
Está sendo muito legal
in our contracting
as
efforts,
pequenas companhias
requirements that big companies have to include small
unidas junto com grandes companhias
so I wouldn't
nos esforços aí dos contratos.
Let that deter me if I was just a graduate student right now with a neat idea. I wouldn't let the fact that I'm a one-person company frighten me away from doing the business, because if you've got the passion and you've got the ideas, you can find a way to get built into the system.
Aí com uma excelente ideia e uma paixão para desenvolver, você pode desenvolver esses temas aí como parte aí de uma maior empresa. Muito legal aí, ó, desenvolvendo aí.
And this one's for you, Dr. Z. What are the key science objectives that you want to achieve on the lunar surface beyond 2024?
That's Zerbukins, because it's got science in it.
Quais são os objetivos científicos a se atingir na Lua até 2024? Meu Deus do céu, que pergunta aí, vamos ver.
I'm hearing from the national academies. You should know next week I will get the strategy, the planetary strategy from the national academies. I asked for that not because I don't know how to make decisions, but I'm not good in no science. So I'm just good in very little science. So basically trading science against science. I really want another body that is smarter than me to make this. And so you should know that decadal that we're going to get actually has as a task the integration or into Artemis directly. So I just want to tell everybody, even though what I'm going to tell you is what my belief is today, next week I'm getting really important guidance. The highest priority is really focused on resources and volatiles, both because of the science that kind of
a prioridade maior então é focada em recursos,
surface on the moon. Is really critical.
Recursos na superfície lunar, né? Como se mantém a vida, inclusive a vida humana, nossos sistemas de manter a vida humana na superfície lunar. A história do sistema da Terra também, em comparação com a Lua, né?
Of course, the history of the moon is our history, so there's important signs for that. And I think the third piece is really utilizing the moon and its environment as to do measurements that otherwise are not possible. I want to refer back to the Lucy instrument I already described that uses the radio quiet regions. So those are the three that I would focus on.
De uma forma que seja possível
So another question from our audience. With international collaboration missions such as James Webb Space Telescope and other successful stories of us all coming together around important missions, do you see European space partners and more global space partners also embracing and shaping that commercial space economy?
Tá falando um pouco dos parceiros da europeus agora, né? Como é que eles veem?
Those international partners I mentioned earlier are absolutely critical to us. And the agencies that we partner with have an industry that they rely on to build that hardware. And I would expect that innovation, I think I wrote it down, Thomas, the innovative flywheel that you mentioned earlier. Every time I listen to Thomas, I learn something. Is spinning just as well in those other countries. And seeing the way the space economy has taken off, I would expect that commercial, and I think you're seeing it now, that commercial to roll out.
Tá citando aqui de novo, chovendo molhado, dizendo aí várias nações que tem que se unir aí para essa economia espacial.
There's a lot of learning ahead of us. There's a lot of learning ahead of us, and I don't think I certainly don't want to give the impression that I figured it out. I don't want to speak for my colleagues. Let me give you one of the examples. It's really clear that the entrepreneurial ecosystem, just if you look at just sheer amount of venture capital expended in the United States, by far eclipses what happens elsewhere. So what that does, it creates kind of tension. So we, of course, our international partners are dear to us, and
os eclipses que acontecem nos Estados Unidos, tem international partners estudando isso aí.
That we're doing have them, and we think that makes us stronger. But what we need to figure out now is how do we make sure that, in fact, the industries in these other partnerships, wherever they are, whether in Europe, in Japan, whether they're
elsewhere, onde estejam os parceiros, na Europa ou no Japão,
support without really, if you want, taking energy out of the commercial ecosystem. I'll give you an example, just so you know what I'm talking about. We could be working with every international partner and
podemos trabalhar com qualquer parceiro internacional, qualquer lugar do mundo, né?
Using commercial lunar payload services.
I think that would be a horrific mistake. Para trabalhar nos sistemas de superfície lunar. Qualquer lugar do mundo, ele está dizendo.
For the commercial lunar payload services, the kind of a market with less friction is one where over time the commercial, our international partners say, hey, I'm going to work with this company and go work with them directly. So how we get from where we are today, we're perfectly excited to have these discussions, but how do we get to this world that's much more seamless and kind of without boundary, kind of like the commercial entities are, is something we're still learning.
Falou muito rápido aí também. Eu já estou meio cansado também. Já estamos indo para o final da live. 1h25, vamos terminar então. Última pergunta.
What Artemis really is, what Artemis means, and we've
o que significa
really
Artemis?
Important pieces of the partnerships, the talent, all the resources. But what I want to challenge us to do, just to kind of close out our panel, is to fast forward a few decades and look
Os
to
desafios para as próximas décadas.
If Artemis, as we understand it today, all goes as planned, what do you think the space economy looks like maybe 20 years from now?
Como será a economia mundial daqui a 20 anos com o programa Artemis?
I guess I'll go first and I'll improve on any answer I come up with. I think I see it evolving much like low Earth orbit has.
Vai desenvolver tanto quanto a órbita baixa
is now a service. I would expect us to have built the sustainability that Pam talked about on the lunar surface.
Ter sistema de sustentabilidade ao redor da superfície da órbita lunar, né?
Our job at NASA is to not hold on to things. Many folks say, why are we doing services for landers? Because we don't want to own that forever. We want to use that as a service so that we're pushing the next boundary. So in 20 years, I'm hopeful that there is some kind of infrastructure on the lunar surface that is available to commercial entities, that is used by commercial entities.
Então, em 20 anos, essa infraestrutura para a superfície lunar, ele espera que esteja disponível para parceiros comerciais também, né? Não são necessariamente os donos do lugar. Tipo a Estação Espacial Internacional, uma cooperação internacional. É legal aí a visão dele.
to try and predict the future, but what I see is like Jim said, what we've got going on in Leo right now will move out to cislunar space.
O que nós estamos vendo agora é que a gente está indo para a superfície lunar de novo.
That go to the lunar surface.
I think we'll see
some people that go there for private science reasons or to explore for resources. We'll see missions that aren't driven by government requirements, but they're driven by private requirements. And at some point, 20 years is probably a little too soon, but at some point we're going to see exploration missions that are driven by corporations on Earth rather than by the government.
And I think there's important transitions that are really hard to predict, but are already at the horizon now. The availability of big large launch systems, whether it's the one that you talked about at the beginning, some of the commercial options, fundamentally change how we do things. You know, standing in front of the Orion 5 with the James Webb Space Telescope on it, $10 billion of investment, you know, like I don't wish that on another person necessarily. I mean, the Orion 5 team
o James Webb Telescope com 10 bilhões de dólares de investimento.
Kind of transfer, you know, a future kind of in this environment. How do we create solutions for advanced telescopes, for Earth observing systems that really use these kind of tool sets that we've talked about. To me, I think a significant fraction of science will move in that space. And our job is, of course, as an agency, is to first both utilize that, but also focus on the leading edge and trying to make sure that we build, 20 years from now, a spacecraft that goes to other stars. Right, and I mean, of course we need to do that. We have nuclear systems that are really providing power in many places, and also propulsion in areas kind of orders of magnitude above what we currently have. And so it's these things that we should be focused on.
And what I'd say is, first of all, I hope there's a rough parallel with the airline industry.
Agora, o último para encerrar o painel, para acabar.
In the places where it's more natural and in the tem
uma parceria grande aí com a indústria aeroespacial
technology advancements we can still
de aviação, né?
Engage in, like we do with the with our research organization in aeronautics. But that largely it's a service. And we
ao desenvolvimento de tecnologia, nós podemos utilizar tanto essas coisas na Lua como aqui na Terra também.
But we'll go farther and further in our exploration. We'll leave the solar system and we'll go beyond.
Nós deixaremos o sistema solar para ir além.
We're here today in Colorado Springs, or if you're online with us virtually. So I want to thank you, all of our distinguished
Obrigado aí
pelos
panelistas. Estamos terminando.
The future is bright in space, and Artemis just shines so brightly. Thank you all for joining us, and hope you have a wonderful rest of your Space Symposium. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, all of you. Terminando aí o painel, muito bem organizado aqui. Concluiu agora, ó, vamos ficar com essa imagem da Lua aí, da Lua, da Terra, né? Ó, que linda aí, bonitinha, da Estação Espacial Internacional, né? Earth from the Space Station. A Terra vista da Estação Espacial. A NASA sempre deixa essas imagens lindas aí entre um programa e outro. Enquanto fica aí, a gente faz o nosso encerramento aqui da live, então. Beleza, pessoal. Ó, com esse som aí, lindo aí também, essa musiquinha de fundo aí, fazendo aqui o encerramento. A gente viu que o objetivo foi ver um pouquinho do principal simpósio espacial mundial, que é o Space Symposium, o 37º Space Symposium, que falou um pouquinho aí sobre os desenvolvimentos da NASA e a Artemis, que foi o grande objetivo de estar aqui discutindo aqui um pouco esses assuntos aqui. Vou terminar aqui agradecendo aqui de novo os comentários do colega aqui, o Grandmaster UV. Superman, rola hombre. Tá. La marihuana é NASA. Então... Bom, já acabou a live, já acabou. Já temos La marihuana em NASA, muito interessante, porque hoje, 5 de abril de 2022, minha família acabou de vencer aqui uma ação judicial contra a União de fornecimento de um medicamento que é da marihuana, né? Que vem da marihuana, que é o uso do canabidiol, que são alguns princípios ativos que estão dentro da maconha, usados da planta, né? Da planta da maconha, que são usados de forma medicinal. Ganhei esse medicamento, um medicamento caro, o canabidiol, né? Para minha filha, Lívia Cristina, que tem paralisia cerebral, que ela vai utilizar aí o canabidiol, o marihuana, né, Gramaster? O marihuana. Ganhei hoje, 5 de abril, que é um dia histórico, tanto aí para nossos desenvolvimentos espaciais, igual eu estou fazendo a live, como para mim aqui, para minha família. Ganhamos o canabidiol do Estado brasileiro aqui, né? Uma ação contra o Estado brasileiro. Ganhamos a ação do canabidiol, vai ser usado para minha filha marihuana. Então, por isso que eu estou felizinho aqui. Vamos usar a marihuana como remédio aqui para minha filha Lívia Cristina. Eu gostei muito. Lá marihuana e NASA, ele fez aqui a brincadeira por conta aqui, talvez, dos meus cabelões aqui, né? Tão bonitos os cabelos, né? Tão bonitos. Tão bonitos aqui, ó. Tá bonito seu cabelo, marihuana e NASA, a barbinha aqui também. Esses cabelos estão ficando grandes aqui para fins, desde 2020, quando começou a pandemia, para fins teatrais aí da representação de Cristo, que há 3 anos que eu estou tentando participar aqui da Paixão de Cristo em Chapecó, onde eu estou, mas nós estamos cancelados a Paixão de Cristo, esse ano também não vai ter, e eu deixei o cabelo crescer desde então para fazer melhor aí. Eu já fui o Judas na Paixão de Cristo e agora também representaria como Jesus também. Tem novos comentários, deixa eu ver aqui quem está falando. Eu gostei muito aqui do Grandmaster, aqui, ó, lá marihuana e NASA. Eu morri de rir aqui demais da conta, sim. E o outro foi esse aqui, ó. Lockheed Martin, Vilker Martin. Lockheed Martin, que é um dos grandes parceiros privados aí do programa Artemis, né? Lockheed Martin and Vilker Martin. Legal, Gramaster, legal. Gostou? É isso aí, gente. Participem aí, que aí eu faço aqui minhas lives com mais alegria aqui. Eu já sou alegre de natureza. Com esses comentários legais aqui da galera, eu fico mais alegre ainda. Global Alliance to Benefit of All, Gramaster. Muito obrigado aí, Gramaster. Artemis, o grande elefante na sala, não é não. I want to watch the rest of the Space Symposium. I want to watch, né? O Gramaster quer assistir o resto do simpósio. Olha, você viu que a NASA aqui parou de transmitir, né? Eu estou retransmitindo a partir do www.nasa.gov e a NASA TV. Eles já pararam, porque o objetivo deles foi só passar aqui o da Pam Melroy, que é a diretora, e desse simpósio desses 4 diretores que falaram um pouquinho aqui sobre a Global Space Economy, né? A economia espacial global, privada e pública, né? Eles já falaram, a NASA já cumpriu o objetivo, então o simpósio está rolando, mas está rolando lá nos Estados Unidos. Entra no site, eu tenho aqui, não sei se você está no Face ou no YouTube, entra no link aqui do Facebook, tem lá o www.symposium.org, que tem o link. Entra no link e dá uma olhada se tem alguma forma de participar. Não sei se tem forma de participar à distância, a NASA transmitiu só aqui esses 2 painéis, tá? I wish I could afford the $750. Pois é, $750. Muita grana. Em real brasileiro, 5 vezes 7,35, R$4.000, 4,000 real, the currency here in Brazil. 4,000, no deal. $750 não dá não, for the virtual Space Symposium. I can't afford. Isso aí, igual marihuana, eu gostei muito de marihuana e NASA. 420, 420 melhorou, 450 melhorou. Are you Italian Spanish, Lo? Não sou nem Italian nem espanhol. Português, man, Português. I'm a Brazilian boy, Então eu tô falando aqui do Brasil. I'm a Brazilian boy and talking from Chapecó. Chapecó is in the south of Brazil. Brazil south. Too cold here. It's too cold environment here in Brazil. Chapecó. It was a city. We had a big accident here, an airplane accident with the people football team here in Chapecó. It was all over the world. It was transmitted. I don't think you saw. It was that 71 people from the Chapecoense team football here in Chapecó. It was really famous Chapecó around the world. I don't know if you know that, but I'm from another state here in Brazil. It's called state is Minas Gerais. Minas Gerais, my state of coração. It's in the heart of Minas Gerais, heart of Brazil, in the center, right in the center of Brazil. It's Minas Gerais, my heart of my state of the heart. I'm going back to Minas Gerais in 2023. Together with the people going to the moon, the astronauts going to the moon, the Artemis 2, I'm going to Minas Gerais, back to the Minas Gerais. We're going to the moon, and I'm going to Minas Gerais, my God. And so I'm Brazilian boy. I'm Brazilian marijuana boy. Oh, Brazil, nice. Thank you very much for your participation here. I like it very much. From my heart, Marijuana and NASA, Martin, Lockheed Martin, Future Martin. Love you very much. Your participation here. Look right on the side if you can participate in another. I'm going to go down with the live right now. I was briefed by Brazil on. Ele teve uma experiência com os aliens do Brasil. Here in my state, Minas Gerais, it's a city called Varginha. Varginha in Minas Gerais. We received this here. The Varginha it is. We received here in Varginha. Look at Google. It is in Brazil, Varginha. Varginha. We received this here in Varginha. Muito dinheiro sim, por simpósio não dá não. Só vão assistir aqui pela NASA ou que ela transmitiu aqui gratuito. No deal, yeah, I can afford to. Já estamos encerrando aqui. Nice, really nice, Grandmaster. Thank you very much. Brazil looks beautiful. It's a wonderful, beautiful city. I'll show you. I'll show you like here. Let's see here. Brazil here. Oh, Grandma here, Rana Master. Look, Brazil here. And so I live here. Look in the south. In the south of Brazil is Chapecó, and my state is Santa Catarina. I live here. But I'm going, while we're going Artemis 2, going tripulation to the moon in Artemis 2 into 2023. I'm going to Minas Gerais. It's up here and right in the center of Brazil. Like Minas Gerais is here. Minas Gerais. I'm going. My love, Minas Gerais. I was born there. My family is all around there, and I'm going to go back from Santa Catarina to Minas Gerais. It's Brazil. That's Brazil. It's a really wonderful, really water and green and beautiful reserves, beautiful beaches all around the coast of Brazil. Really wonderful beaches. And Amazonia here. Amazonia is a wonderful place to go. And we are expecting your visit here. Well, where are you from? I show Brazil. Show me yours. Show me your place, Grandmaster. It's not outside solar system. I'm from East Coast as Maryland. A costa leste de Maryland. I was in the US too. And I was like in Utah. I worked for the petroleum company Brazil, Petrobras, Brazil, and I spent a month in Utah in a congress in Utah, and I saw wonderful things there. The Grand Canyon. I go to California too. I got to California and saw the Grand Canyon, the Bryce Canyon place. I don't know in Maryland you have national parks. You can tell if you have. I like very much national parks. I go to Yosemite, best beautiful national parks from the world, even beautiful than Brazil. I like to. Forgive me, all Brazilian people, but Yosemite is so wonderful, so wonderful. Maryland, I don't know anything from Maryland, but thank you very much to participate here in the live tour. I'm from the East Coast of Maryland. I don't know Maryland. Talk about what you have here in Maryland. You have some NASA institutions here there in Maryland. Brazil. I gain my day. I gain my month here with this. I'm doing some lives in Artemis, and this live is one of the lives that I most laughed all the way with the marijuana thing. Brazilian marijuana. Really wonderful, Grandmaster. What's your name, by the way? Sam Man, love you, bro. Sam Man, love you too, Grandmaster. Oh, love you, guy. Love beautiful guy. If you love space and you love the things that are getting us to the moon, I love people who love space, because we have a lot of challenges here on Earth, like the challenge people that are starving, climate change, the war, like we have in Ukraine, the war, people poor people. We have a lot of challenges here on Earth, but don't think that we don't need to go to space. We need to go to space, yes, because there we can develop medical things. We can develop better things to here on Earth, and we can take the challenge here to poor people, into poor countries, and to together the equality, the respect, the difference, respect to different people. We have a lot of challenge here too, but it's not a thing that oh, you've had things to do here on Earth, then go to the moon. No, it's not that. We have to do the things here in Earth and go to the moon too, to the space, to Mars, and to outer space, to do another brilliant things, because God is wonderful. God made this beautiful people that is right here, the Earth. God has made the Earth. God made us. God made Genesis. God made us. God made the Earth. And God makes our mind to develop new things, our creative to develop new things. It's in our spirit, this human spirit is developed and to go to deep space. It's human spirit to go beyond. And Artemis, the sister of Apollo, it's going to bring this matriarchality to a new exploration of space. Artemis is our goal, our new goal to go with the Apollo missions. And we are I have some things to go. My family is coming down. The Mahirana can be the odd medicine that I'm going to give to my little daughter. I'm going to have to my family is calling me to back, so I'm going to go away. Whoa, Virginia, yeah, you have the aliens. I have the aliens in Virginia too. The Virginia incident. Yeah, I know. I love it. Look at Google. Look at Google. Have great things here. I love your emotions here. Really brilliant, awesome. Yeah, the water looks awesome. Really beautiful things. Come here too. Come here too. Come here, bro. Come here. My girlfriend here. My girlfriend's here. Come here. Come to the live. No, he's not. Does not want. So shy. He's so shy. Don't want her to the live right now. Let's finish. I'm from East Coast, Maryland. What do you have in Maryland? It's like where you live on East Side, but on North America. Yeah, East Side on South America, nah? The East Side of Brazil on South America. It's like here. Brazil here. I live in the South, but I'm going to Minas Gerais. Vamos embora para Minas Gerais, man. I'm going to Minas Gerais. It's like in the center of Brazil, but in the east, near the sea. But Minas Gerais don't have sea, but we are near the sea. We're really near the sea aqui. In the east of Brazil is which I live. And Maryland, I don't know, Grandmaster. That's a really good talk. Thank you very much for this end of talk here. My name is Jonathan. Jonathan, thank you very much for your participation here. I have to go to get the marijuana medicine for my daughter. It's cannabidiol. It's in cerebral palsy. My daughter has cerebral palsy. We're treating her. She has some the convulsion in English, like convulsion. I don't know. The epilepsy. She has epilepsy, and with the cerebral palsy, the cannabidiol can track down the things of epilepsy, and the mind of my daughter stays really good. And that's our really inspiration to do this cannabidiol things to help the better quality of life of Livia Christini. Haha, I'm smoking right now. Smoking is really bad to the health, man. Grandmaster, okay, yeah, we can make everything awesome beauties and vehicles and science and tech. Really good, Grandmaster. See you in the next live. Go in my channel, Vilco Martins in YouTube. Vilco Martins is my channel. Let me talk here. Let me show here to you. Vilco Martins here on Facebook. You can follow me to Facebook or Instagram. Vilco Martins Escritor. You can. Follow me ever go, and we are on the next. I won't be here with. I like you very much, Jonathan. Marijuana boy, Martin Hill boy. I like you very much. Good acting through us. Yeah, nice. Yeah, cannabis helps seizures so much. Yeah, cannabis is a medicine really, really good. Here in Brazil, we are using so much. I had that too a few years ago. Cannabis is the only thing that cures it. Yeah, yeah. God bless your recuperation here. I hope she feels better and healthy and happy with the cannabis, and I hope too. We are going to initiate it in the couple of days now. My girlfriend is calling out to go to get this medicine. See you next time. I will subscribe. Oh, bro, really wonderful, John. I like very much your participation. I like you very much too, bro. Cheers, man. Great hug here from Chapecó, Brazil, and Artemis. God bless Artemis, goddess of the nature. Goddess of the nature. God bless Artemis. That is going too well. The wet reservation went 2 scrubs and Friday and Sunday and yesterday, Monday, April 30 April and 4th April, and we are going to the 3rd wet reservation, and God bless that team NASA doing things well, and we're going to this preparation for the launch, and maybe June is the launch, the first Artemis. June, my God. 10, 3, 9, 6, 3, 2, 1, and lift off. God bless Artemis, goddess of nature. God bless Jonathan. God bless all of you that has been with me in this life. Our engineers, technicians, people of cleaning room in NASA, everybody that works in NASA, everybody that works with teaching science around the world, and God and Artemis, the supreme girl spirit, Goddess Artemis, the princess. We lift off. Artemis bless all of us. God bless our flight commander, God. And God, really good. God here. Jesus Christ was helping now with heading to the Pesca, I don't know Pesca in English, Pesach, the Pesach, and the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's a little friend of mine, Jonathan, little friend of mine, and Jesus Christ is in my heart too, and Pesca is heaven. God bless all of you, and Jesus Christ bless all of you too. And really good to end our life with Jesus Christ. Oh, really good here. Jesus is above me, behind me, and on my way. Oh, really good, Jonathan. Jesus bless all of us. Jesus, earth. What beautiful picture. Look at this. Jesus, NASA, work, and marijuana, boy. We both have Jesus Christ next to us, and we both like Jesus. Jesus is it. You're okay. God bless. Artemis bless. Love you all.